Hey guys, welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to do today's Instagram Live as a question and answer format. So if there's anything you specifically want to ask, now is a good time to do it, because that's the purpose of today's Instagram. Because everyone's got lots of questions, and I try and get them covered in the Facebook group. But it's also a good place to get them covered on here, because obviously I can answer them directly. And so anything you want to ask, let me know. I'm going to talk a little bit about the post that I just put up a moment ago, which said about not putting on a brave face to your therapist or coach. Now, it's very, very important but there's two parts to that. One, we don't want to walk around completely just telling everyone how bad we feel all day long. We've got to put on a face to fit in enough in day-to-day life to keep us going in the right direction. But we've got to talk about when we're feeling bad and when we're feeling low to therapist, coach, support group, all different things like that. If we're just constantly going around telling everyone we're feeling fine when we're not, that's not so good. And it's very easy to get into dynamics in group where we start thinking, I've got a good reputation in this support group, I've got to keep on brave face, or I've got a nice reputation with my therapist or coach, I've got to put on a brave face. And then this becomes a problem, because you're constantly going around trying to put on a brave face all the time, and you don't get fully underneath your problems because nobody knows you're suffering. People often come into me and go, Rob, I'm fine. And whenever I ask anyone, hey, how you doing? They always say, I'm fine, Rob. But are they fine? No. We're so used to saying that. But that's not the reality of things in life, okay? Things aren't as simple as, we're fine. And we have to be careful of the dynamics which we operate in, so that we are going around telling everyone, oh, I'm fine, when we're actually not fine. So that's the first important thing. It's okay to say you're not doing okay, okay? So that's okay. It doesn't matter if you're on a journey and then suddenly you think, shit, I've been doing really well, but I'm not feeling so great at the moment. It's okay to say right now, I'm not doing so great at the moment, because that's part of the journey. The journey's got ups and downs, peaks and troughs all the way through it. No journey is just completely fine all the way along. It doesn't work like that. Okay, that's not how the journey is. Journey is part of learning different things, seeing how things are, finding new things about what we're struggling with, maybe OCD, moving and latching to different thoughts, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so that's really important stuff to think about. Can OCD give you false feelings, like make you think you're depressed? OCD can give you any feeling depending on if you're scared of it. If you're scared of something, then it can create it, and it's the master at mimicking that. Can mimic things with schizophrenia, so we're constantly convinced we see and hear things. With depression, feeling low, scared, we're feeling low, all different things. That's how it operates. It's the master at creating things that make us feel stuck, like we don't know, is it the real thing or is it just OCD or so on. And that's what it does. It's fucker for that. It does do that. Okay, let's have a look here and see if there's any questions. Are you still planning on doing an Instagram live about moral responsibility OCD and unconditionally harm coming to others? Absolutely, I will be covering that. It's one of the most main topics that people come to me with, POCD, harm OCD, all versions of that, so I certainly will be covering that. Any tips for running a support group, Wigan anxiety group? Well, I think the best thing when you've got a support group is you've got to make sure that there's a momentum in it and a direction, and there's a certain degree of moderation. Because in support groups, what happens very easily is you have a situation where people what happens is in support groups, people tend to very much looking for reassurance, very much looking for to just tell their story, then someone else to tell their story, and just wanting to have all the focus on them and their problem. And that causes a lot of problems. We don't want that. We don't want all the focus on you, your situation, or that. We want them listening. We want them externalizing, seeing things that are going on around them, not rather than just on inside them, which is what happens far too often. It's all internal, what's going on in them, not what's going on with others, and what does that person think, or listening and being mindful, being in the moment. Often it's just into their problem straight away, focus on their problem, then into someone else's problem, focus on, then talking about themselves and focusing inwards. And we need to connect with others, and so hear other people's problems. That's key. Will OCD get worse if you don't get help? Can do. Can trying too hard to accept the thoughts actually it just make you more anxious if you're trying to force it, trying to constantly force it. It can certainly make you more anxious. Practicing letting go helped me recently. How do you think about that? Well, letting go is key. It's a large part of it. I suffer from HOCD. Any tips to stop checking all the time? Well, the HOCD, you're trying to check all the time, are you gay? So you're scared of being gay. So the main thing is about breaking down the idea of why would it be so scary to be gay? Why would it be so terrible to be gay? What's so scary about being gay? Breaking that down, looking at the irrational beliefs that you hold there about being gay. I think that's important to look at. You want to focus on that. That's a good place to start with. Otherwise, if you're terrified of it, you will be constantly checking in your head, often trying to work out constantly, are you gay? Because it will be constant cycle all the time that's going on, and you'll find that difficult to just stop because of how scared you are. So we have to come underneath the fear to break the fear down, and then we need to learn to become more accepting, which is important, and then learning to live with uncertainty, which is key. All of that process together to get under it. Is it common to think that people with ROCD are thinking about stuff that isn't worth worrying about? For those with other types of OCD, it can be frustrating to hear about ROCD. Yeah, ROCD can be really frustrating. I find it frustrating sometimes, and so does loads of people who don't have ROCD frustrating. Why does it sound frustrating? Because for people that have got a serious problem or have got something with serious concern, they're all serious, ROCD included, absolutely. People have a great deal of suffering from it. People can be suicidal over it. So it's not just all OCD themes. For the individual who's going through it, it's scary for them. So you never want to dismiss or diminish ROCD. But with ROCD, what happens is it can sound to another person, even to the person with ROCD, they can think that too, when they look back at their story, and they'll say like, God, this sounds so ridiculous. But because it sounds like this to another person, I saw my boyfriend eating a sandwich that I made him, and he didn't look that into it, so therefore he doesn't love me, and I felt really bad because he didn't. Someone else, they could literally be thinking, what the fuck, you're worried about someone eating a sandwich? I'm thinking of being a fucking murderer. Like, how on earth is that a big deal? You know, that's what people can think, but that's what people can think with any OCD, because they can think, anyone who hasn't got OCD can think, oh, will you stop whining about that? Get on with your life. Stop thinking. I had that stuff screamed at me. People have that screamed at them by people around them who don't understand it, okay? That happens because OCD does that. It's like with contamination OCD, someone who doesn't understand it. Just stop fucking cleaning. Why don't you just stop cleaning and just get out the fucking door? That's how people feel. Now, I'm using a lot of swear words here to describe how that feels for people. Okay? So they're all like that. All of them you could describe like that. Every single one. So it's not as simple as that you think it is. Okay? Right. Any other questions, guys? Keep putting questions in here. Then I don't have to think of topics. Makes it easier. I'm trying so hard to do the ERP and acceptance for my harm OCD, but it feels like it's not working, man. What am I doing wrong? Well, without treating you myself, without working with you myself, I can't tell exactly what you're doing wrong. Need to look at it, but there's quite a bit that goes into it. Learning to accept things, you can't just force it. You can't just go, accept. It doesn't work as easy as that. Okay, guys, keep sending questions across. Otherwise, I'll be tempted to eat this box of jelly beans that is here. This is the problem with these Instagram lives. If there's any sweets here, I end up eating them. Okay, is OCD triggered by trauma? OCD can be triggered by trauma, but don't get too focused on that, because what happens is people get so focused on that, they start thinking, oh my God, what happens if something bad happened in the past? What if I was involved in, if that hadn't happened, oh, I need to go back in my past and find something that was that caused my OCD, or go back into my past, find out all about my mum and dad, how they raised me. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is classic psychodynamic OCD that keeps people lost. Right, let's have a look at these. Jelly beans are really good. Have you done a video that explains how to break down harm OCD? Yeah, I have done, but I will be doing more of them because they're the most common topic, as that other person asked. Urges and feelings. Man, can you explain why OCD makes you feel like you want to do something? OCD is going to make it feel real, like my post today that was saying, if it didn't make it feel real, it wouldn't be a disorder. No one would give a shit. If it didn't feel real, you'd just think, well, it doesn't feel real, it's no issue. It has to feel real for it to be the disorder it is. If I miss out any questions, it's not because I'm not picking you or anything like that. It's just because if a lot of questions come in on different ones, I pick certain ones. How do I get out of my head and into my life? Well, you do that by being involved in life anyway, as best you can. But you're not going to get out of your head and into your life 100%. Because if you're scared of something, it's going to be going along ruminations in your head. You won't be able to just get out of it. It's like saying to someone, okay, we're going for a lovely walk today, you and me. Where are we going? Going for a lovely walk along the beach. Okay, let me just tell you, by the way, oh, your test results came back. They think you might have cancer. All right, let's go now. It's not going to work like that. Someone will be thinking, fuck, I've got cancer. I'm talking about not someone with OCD, someone who hasn't. They'd be thinking, fucking hell, I've got cancer. This is terrifying. I wouldn't be able to concentrate. It's not as simple as that. Okay, so we need to get under the fears. We need to learn to become more accepting, get used to uncertainty, and that whole combination is what gets under it. Why does OCD make you doubt OCD itself? Because if OCD let you off the hook with just going, oh, it's OCD, it's no problem, off I go, then that would just be a gap that would make the whole disorder nothing, and everyone could just go through that and the whole thing would have no power. I've had OCD since I was 5. It was diagnosed only 2 years ago, and I'm 24 now. I'm sorry about me eating these jelly beans. It must be a bit annoying watching someone eating jelly beans, but they're so fucking good. It doesn't seem to go away, even after extensive medication and therapy. Any advice regarding a future course of action? Well, it does go away. It's the therapy won't have got underneath it, because 90% plus don't understand it fully. Medication helps take the edge off, doesn't cure it. The therapy needs better therapy, as well as better program and course of action to go through, and then that will. Well done for going through an entire day without looking for reassurance. Yeah, it's very tough, but it's the way to go. Well done there, Edward, with giving up looking for reassurance. If you notice signs of OCD in your child, they start praying all the time, reassurance questions, how do you approach that? Well, just try and get them to take risks, get them to live his life as normal as possible. Try and make alterations where you can that will help that process, rather than letting them get more and more obsessive. And you can adjust that, but then if you notice it's become a disorder, then you'll need to get them help. Sound went out. That might be because of my finger. Sorry. Okay. Can you discuss false memories? Well, false memories, all it is you've got uncertainty in the past. Okay, OCD knows the future that you can change, so you're not so scared about the future because you know that that can be changed. But the past knows is gone. So because it's gone, still no sound. Really? I haven't got my finger on the speaker. Oh, maybe it's on both sides. Sorry. So false memories are always going to be in the past because they want to pick something there that to hold you guilty forever and ever, that kind of thing. So it's always going to look for that, and it's going to create variations. It can attach to a real memory and then make adjustments around it, and you won't be able to tell, and it will leave you thinking, God, how did I even live my life knowing that that thing was there, and then that never bothered me before? It's absolutely convincing. With being stuck on mental checking, I find that OCD won't let me just not do them, that I might miss something. Yeah, but that's because you believe that if you miss something, it'll be terrifying if you miss that thing. That's what's causing the problem. I'm glad these jelly beans aren't those ones that are got all the horrible flavours. You get these ones in England that they put like all horrible flavours in there, which are like for kids, joke ones, prank jelly beans. I actually quite like some of the flavours of the prank jelly beans, but I do prefer the ones that aren't the prank ones. And this is, I was just checking, this one hasn't got any prank jelly beans in it. Just bought How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable. I feel like the next step for me is the self-acceptance. Absolutely, great book to start with. Don't try and bolt it down and like lock down self-acceptance so that it's forced in. Go along with it, do the best you can, learning what you're doing, learning steps, but don't try and rigidly sort of hammer it in. Could you please save this live video for viewing later? Some of the advice here is very helpful and it'd be good to take it. I'll put it on Facebook. How can I become more accepting when my mind makes it seem like I may have committed the most heinous act? Something I'd never accept. Yes, because you haven't got unconditional self-acceptance, which does what it says on the tin. Whatever act has been committed, we could still accept ourselves. And that's in the book, it explains about that. So under anything, the human is always intact. We really dislike the act, the behavior, a wrong, terrible act as in the behavior, but not the person. The person's value is on being alive and human. The person is always intact. We always have compassion for the person, but not for the act. The act we might not like. I like your slang, by the way, from a British speaker. Yeah, with a British speaker, you get this accent. Maybe you like it. Maybe some people don't like it. But I accept that. What if you feel like you can't argue with OCD and you must tell about it? Tell people about it. Well, you don't need to be going telling people all about it in the form of confession, because that's going to leave you stuck. Constantly telling people is trying to get yourself off the hook. That's not the way to go. So you want to tell people when, saying I'm going through a difficult time, so people are aware, but not telling everyone becomes a compulsion, becomes a form of confession. Can you do a separate talk about our OCD? Absolutely, I'm going to do a separate talk all about our OCD. That's going to be something I'm going to be doing because it doesn't get covered enough. Especially as Jagpal just slagged off our OCD in total just a moment ago, saying that it's a disorder that he doesn't understand. I wish I can talk like a British speaker too. That I can't do. I'm not going to be doing like British speaking translation Instagram lives. Maybe that's something I'll go into, but I don't think so, not just yet. Can you discuss about intrusive thoughts? Yeah, well, that's quite a broad topic. It's like saying, can I talk about OCD? Nothing wrong with that question, but I'm not going to do it in today's Instagram live. I get different OCD themes and get over it easy, but the one I struggle with most is schizophrenia OCD. Been obsessed with it at the end of August, and I feel like I'm developing it. Well, it's always going to make it feel like you're definitely developing it. But why is it so bad to why is it so scary to have schizophrenia? People still live full lives with schizophrenia. There's plenty of great TED Talks on YouTube of people who do live good lives with schizophrenia that you can learn about on there. And I think that's a really important thing. I mean, until I absolutely saw that I could stand it, I really wouldn't like it, or it could be challenging or very difficult, but I could make peace with it instead of trying to internally reject it. Then schizophrenia went away, but then it looked for something else to get hold of. But it's about making peace with it, being willing internally to allow it in and accept it. But it takes practice and it takes time. What's at the root of confession? To get rid of anxiety. That is what is at the root of confession. So that's what we have to watch that for. Okay, guys, I think I'm not going to speak for much longer because I've got a session now. I'll upload this to Facebook so you can watch the whole of this if you missed the beginning. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in today, and I will see you at the next Instagram Live. See you later, guys. Take it easy.